We're going to talk about some of the different ways we can use laughter to help ourselves with difficult situations. The first one I like to call the stress buster. During cancer, it can really feel like life is just taken over with radiotherapy, chemotherapy, hospital appointments and such like. And my partner and I found it really useful when we put laughter into objects, and it helped us deal with some of these situations. I particularly remember the day that I was going to my main surgery, and I felt sick, I felt nervous, and really scared about what was to come. So as I trundled along on the bus at 7 a.m. in the morning, the bus chuckled to my partner and I. We smiled at each other at the thought of this huge big red bus just kind of chuckling along in time to the chug of the engine, going and it just kind of really, it just kind of helped to release some of the tension that we were feeling. And even a little bit later in that day, I was waiting to go into my surgery, and I was in the anaesthetic room on my own, and as you would do, feel a little bit scared. And I looked up, and the vent smiled down at me. I know I could have picked a more interesting object, but I was flat on my back, so there wasn't an awful lot around. But even this tiny little thing just really helped to kind of release some of the tension that I was feeling. And I suppose it's almost kind of made those slightly sort of sterile and scary things in the hospital just a little bit more human. Really did help. So I'd encourage you now to spend just a few minutes thinking about what situations you've got coming up, or those that you're currently finding yourself in. And just think about what objects you could put a laugh into. For example, is it a big hearty laugh as the automatic doors open in the hospital, like a ha 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 ha? Is there a loud guffaw in the bin? Ho 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 ho? Is there like a hee 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 in time for your chemotherapy drip? Or is there a squeaky laugh in a vent somewhere that you see? It really doesn't matter. I would just think about what sort of things that are around you, and I'd share those kind of thoughts with other people, because it, like I was saying with my partner and I earlier, it really did bring a sense of camaraderie, and we're all in this together. And I didn't even mind sharing it with people, to be honest, because I just thought at this sort of time I'm allowed to have a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh. We also use this by putting laughter into everyday objects, and we encouraged our friends to do the same, and we actually had a lot of laughter with our mates around this. So we had one friend who had a giggle in her toothbrush, and you could do this as a family, for example, and just had a hee 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 as you're doing it, as you're brushing your teeth in the morning. We had a giggling kettle at home, which kind of, as it bubbled and got sort of boiled, the laughter got even more like ooh, 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 as it boiled up, which was quite funny. And the other one I remember is a laughter in your fridge or your microwave, for example. When you open the door of the fridge, it kind of goes hee, and you shut it again, hee hee. So anything is fine, and by putting it into the daily kind of those everyday objects, it makes you smile as you go to the fridge. So it's all good. Another one I use is the pocket chuckle. There were times where I found I was really coping with everything really well, and I was. But then the most ordinary thing would come along that just tipped me completely over the edge. I remember back to my second bout of cancer, and I was about 3 months into chemotherapy, and I was out having a really lovely night out with friends. But then on the way home, I lost my tube ticket. And it sounds stupid, but it was the simplest little thing that just kind of tipped me totally over the edge and sideswiped me. And in the next minute, I was kind of in this massive frustration, tears, and I was angry at myself for, you know, kind of not being very good at anything at the moment. I was angry at the tube ticket, I was angry at the train, I was angry at completely everything. And I wished at this point I'd had laughter size in my pocket to kind of just bring something out and really, really help in these situations. You'd have thought that the tube ticket cost me £7,000, not £7. If you're like me and many others that I've spoken to, there will be times when you just need something in your pocket to bring out when those situations that just kind of either tip you over the edge or just those people that sort of sideswipe you when you're really not expecting it. And what I would encourage you to do is to think about a giggle or a chuckle or something like that you can put into your pocket and bring out in those times. It might be your imaginary pocket, or it might be something that you actually carry around and put in your pocket. For example, a chuckle charm or a giggle pen or something like that that just makes you think and smile and laugh. And you can find this really, really useful. My partner used this technique when up against a deadline at work and the photocopier jammed. And you can imagine that this is the sort of thing that really, really annoys you at any time. It's really, really frustrating. But when your life is feeling all a bit upside down, it can just kind of, you know, be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And it was, but instead of kind of getting really, really angry and really annoyed and probably bursting into tears, instead, a kind of evil laugh was put into the photocopier. And it was one of those sort of things that if you think about, imagine yourself on a ghost tour, and the photocopier was given this evil laugh, and it went, and that simple little thing just kind of lightened up the situation and meant that, well, actually, you know, things weren't quite as bad as we thought. One of the girls that Steph used to work with in one of the breast cancer support groups, she had a little squirrel and she carried it around with her in her pocket, and then whenever there was a stressful situation or she just needed to centre herself or something like that, she'd pull out this squirrel. And what she'd done is she'd almost sort of anchored a laugh in that. So it gave her a way of just kind of, I guess, calming herself down, but also having a little chuckle with this squirrel. And it had a little hee, hee, hee. And that was great. So give it a try.
The silent laugh. Now, this is another one of my absolute favourites. Picture yourself with a stressful situation. So maybe it's a demanding work meeting, or maybe it's a place where you've got to go to that you're really a bit apprehensive about, or a hospital appointment. It could even be going to the shops. Wherever you're going to go, but you might not feel that big hearty laugh is really going to be appropriate. So you want to do something that's quieter. So you can have the silent laugh, which is as what it says on the tin. It's a silent laugh. It's one of those ones that starts like this. Then it just starts in your shoulders. So that makes you feel better already. And then you can go. And because you're laughing on your own, or with others, which is even better actually sometimes, it gives you an amazing confidence boost. It reduces your stress down immediately and it helps you to relax. But what's the best thing about it is you can do it with, as I say, on your own, or you can do it with other people. If you're doing it with others, it's contagious in a heartbeat, and then you get to a situation where you're simply going and you can't stop the laughter, which is brilliant. Bringing more laughter into our world is what it's all about. And so use the silent laugh. Do it with me now. Do a silent. And see how good that feels. Enjoy. The Energizer. One of the ladies who was in one of my breast cancer groups, Barbara, her daughter had given up her apartment to come home and look after her mum. while she was going through chemo and the rest of the treatment. And Barbara said to me, God, I feel like I'm just unenergised most of the time, or down all the time. She said, I really need to put something back into my relationship with my daughter. And so I said, okay, how do you want to do this? She said, well, every time she comes in the front door, I feel like I should be able to go, hello darling, you're home, and give her something back, but I just haven't got the energy. I said, okay. I said, so let's anchor a laugh in your front door. So we did. And every time her daughter came home, she would put the key in the door, which is where we put the laugh, and it was a and that's what happened. So every time Barbara went home from the group and she tried this, and she tried it every day for about a week, which is what she said she was going to do. And she phoned me about 3 weeks later and said, I can't begin to tell you the difference of what that has done to us. She said, because now I know that I've got a laugh that I can look forward to during the day. She said, but more than that, I know I've got a laugh that I can give back to my daughter, because when she walks in that front door and she's used the key in the door, I know I'm going to be going at her when she comes in the door. Not the sad face, not the unenergised face. She's got a happy mum, an energised mum, a laughing mum. Your laughter team. Actually, talking about sharing laughter with people, we all know it's great to laugh together, so why not go ahead and create yourself a laughter team? Whether you're the patient, the partner, the parents, the carers or the pals, the people around are likely to want to help and to be involved. As a friend, I felt so powerless when Mandy told me about her condition, and I was desperate to do something to help, hence the laughter. In creating your laughter team, we simply suggest that you get together and brainstorm some laughter sizes that you can do face to face, over the phone, or even on FaceTime. What about Skype, or even text? You can do laughter sizes anywhere. Let's use children as an example. What do you do together on a regular basis that they can have a laugh attached to it? For instance, it might be having a very good, yay, as they leave the house or come home from school. It might be a giggle in their school shoes, or even in the car door. Or maybe you could have a laughter hug. Picture that. Or think of a friend who calls you on a regular basis. You can create a specific giggle that you two share every time you speak. I know that's what Mandy and I do. Or perhaps involve your medical team with an injection giggle or something similar. Be inventive. If you can't think of anything, start simple with the 4 basic laughs that we introduce you to, and do these together. It's amazing what comes from even the 4 basic laughs. This is your time to demand people to laugh with you and be a little crazy.
I think you're right, Steph. We found it incredibly beneficial to connect with others using laughter. But there are some people who aren't actually sure whether they can laugh around you because they're not sure how you're feeling at that point in time. So it was a great way, by using laughter size, to give permission to people to laugh with you and laugh around you. One of my friends who said she used laughter with her family, she said they did find it a bit bonkers at first, but once they found their voice, it really gave them a way of letting go, even when they weren't actually feeling like laughing necessarily at that point in time. And you are going to have those days where you feel incredibly glum and you just want to crawl under the duvet, and that's fine. This DVD is not at all about positive thinking and being up all of the time. That's a profoundly stupid idea, but nobody is up all of the time. And if you are feeling like laughter is just not what you want to do at that point, then don't. That's absolutely fine. And there's one last thing that you can do though, if you choose to, and that's say ha to life, or even ha ha to life, or even ha 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 to cancer.